అర్ధక్రాంతి సూత్రధారి అనిల్ బోకిల్తో ఈటీవీ ప్రత్యేక ముఖాముఖి ఇప్పుడు చూద్దాం.
ప్రస్తుతం మనం భారతదేశంలోనే కాకుండా ప్రపంచవ్యాప్తంగా అందరి దృష్టిని ఆకర్షించి భారతీయులందరినీ చిన్న పెద్ద అనే తేడా లేకుండా ప్రభావితం చేస్తున్నటువంటి పెద్ద నోట్ల రద్దు, నగదు రహిత లావాదేవీల వ్యవహారాన్ని నరేంద్ర మోడీ ప్రభుత్వం ఆచరణలో చేపడుతున్నప్పటికీ ఈ సదాలోచన వెనుక ఒక కీలకమైన వ్యక్తి ఉన్నారు. ఆయనే అనిల్ బోకిల్. అర్ధక్రాంతి అనే సంస్థను స్థాపించి నల్లధనం నకిలీ నోట్ల మధ్య నలుగుతున్నటువంటి భారత ఆర్థిక వ్యవస్థకు జవజీవాలు ఊదాలని, భారత ప్రజల్ని ఎడాపెడా వాయిస్తున్నటువంటి పన్నుల నుంచి విముక్తి చేయాలని ఆయన కంకణం కట్టుకొని 16 ఏళ్లుగా తపస్సులు చేస్తున్నారు. చదివింది మెకానికల్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ అయినా స్వతంత్ర భారత చరిత్రలో ఎవరూ చేయనటువంటి మరో ఆర్థిక విప్లవానికి బీజం వేసినటువంటి అనిల్ బోకిల్ ప్రస్తుతం మనతో ఉన్నారు. పెద్ద నోట్ల రద్దు జరిగి నెల రోజులు గడిచిన నేపథ్యంలో అసలు ప్రజలు పడుతున్నటువంటి కష్టాలు ఆయన ఆలోచన మేరకే ఇది సాగుతుందా? ఇలా జరగడానికి కారణం ఏంటి? దీని నుంచి ప్రజల్ని ఏ విధంగా మళ్లించే అవకాశం ఉంది? కష్టాల నుంచి బయటకు తీసుకురావడానికి అవకాశం ఎట్లా ఉంది? మున్ముందు భారత ఆర్థిక ముఖ చిత్రం ఏ విధంగా ఉండబోతుంది అనేది ఆయన్ని అడిగి తెలుసుకున్నాం. అనిల్జీ నమస్కారం.
నమస్తే. నమస్తే
అనిల్జీ, వన్ ఆఫ్ ది pioneers of the Arthakranti movement. Are you satisfied with the move that is being taken by the Narendra Modi government, the demonetization?
Let me be honest, more than satisfaction, I am a bit enlightened, quite relieved, because this kind of decision, some political leadership, when it has been already taken, it required a lot courage, and Modi has shown it. So apart from satisfaction, I am now more hopeful for further development, because the process has begun. Few more things are going to come out, and these are really going to be a very good for our country. That's my honest feeling.
Are the government's action that have been taken till now, are they according to the roadmap that you have given?
We hadn't given a kind of a roadmap, but our Arthakranti is thinking from order side, and government has taken a step from law side. Law and order, the paradigms are different. So our roadmap was totally different, but destination was same. We were asking for a demonetization since last 16 years, and Modi has listened it, but the route is totally different. Both routes are effective. In our view, there is a correction, there is no punishment for anybody. But when government has that power to take a law route, there is possibility of some kind of some hazards to somebody, some harm to somebody, because it is very natural. If somebody do something wrong, then he should be punished according to law, and government has taken a mandate over this commitment only, that we are going to eradicate the corruption, and I think that's it is to be praised, rather it is to be praised.
But order they are moving ahead, is it correct?
Let us see, because the response, how people are giving, and how the possible response is in future, accordingly government has to change their strategies, and I think government is really flexible. They will take according to the public response. But what we see, this government looks selfless. So definitely we can expect this government to do a better thing, and it is going to happen, what we see now.
In this process, if you see in the 1 month, there is a lot of messy. Was it unavoidable, or was there any better way to implement it?
Yeah, if government would have followed the systematic way, what Arthakranti is proposing, rather was proposing, the chaos and that kind of some unrest and uneasiness is now we are looking around, it might have avoided. But according to one more thing, that one dimension is there, that is a terrorism dimension. If government has taken to arrest, because such a huge counterfeit currency was supposed to induced in the Indian economy, by our enemy country. And if government has taken this decision so urgently to check up the move, then it is justifiable. This kind of unrest, this kind of uneasiness we can bear with.
Is it an unprepared one?
No. Since you see the Jan Dhan Yojana, the connectivity of post office to bank, and the kind of all preparations are there. And government putting money in a right system and right way also. The 2000 currency, introduction of 2000 currency note is also a legal stand for it. About 86% of value from cash flow you are taking off, then there was a possibility of sudden shock, and that might have crashed our economy in a single day. To avoid that, government has introduced a 2000 currency note for a short period as a stopgap adjustment. They have done it. If it is so, then it is totally, we can predict that it is a totally prepared and planned one. And India has a huge population, 130 crore in cash-based economy. This kind of uneasiness and unrest was natural. Such a big operation without a shadow of a single blood drop is not possible. The bloodless of that quality, that major operation, I think that was impossible, next to impossible. So it's the only way to avoid bleeding. Minimum bleeding should be there, minimum blood loss should be there, and government is taking care of that, what we observe.
You are talking about the counterfeit notes and the terrorism part. In this 1 month, if you see, have we achieved a little bit of the goal, the government?
We are observing in Kashmir. It's a good peace is there. Northeast is also quite well. All political parties, and they are now supporting. Basically, a common man is supporting. Though he is facing such a huge trouble because he is standing in a queue, he is facing the real trouble, but he is not complaining. He is admiring the decision. He is praising the decision. That means, in the cross section of a country, people have welcomed this. So we have to accept this people's opinion. We have to respect it.
But there is a lot of problems with the unorganized sector labor. The monetary problem is there with them. How to avoid it, and how the government can support? Any suggestions?
There are so many things in our, particularly in Indian society, credit societies and cheat funds and this kind of cash-based economy. The major portion of is on that non-formal financial institute covered by. But I think now Reserve Bank and government initiatives now will be such that they will get connected with the formal economy. Say by way of extension counter of banks, or that kind of, the credit societies can be converted into extension counter of banks. That can be done hereafter. If post office they can connect with the banking system, why not the credit societies and cheat funds? That can be done. Anyhow, you see, the future of the global economy is a digital economy, not cash economy. Somehow India has to take the decision, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. It is inevitable. So government has taken the decision, which is inevitable. Only the apprehension is the time right or not?
Time right or not?
That's a perception. No? That's a view of perception and a kind of perception. Who can claim that this is the right time and this is not the right time? So I think we have to now move with the decision. We have to accept the decision and we have to move with the decision.
If you look into the world order, so many countries have done this demonetization process, and many countries failed actually. If you see their experience, there is a bad experiences we have. How India can learn from those?
No, never happened. Those people are telling that there is a failure in demonetization process, but I don't think. In 1969, America has demonetized its currency. Till then, there was the highest denomination currency was $10,000. In a one fine day, American administration, Nixon administration, they took a decision. They demonetized above $100, and their economy very well run thereafter, credit-based economy. In India also, 78, we demonetized. And I don't think there is a failure of such kind, because there is such a devaluation of money in a Zimbabwe and kind of Nigeria. These are not the size of Indian economy. India is a well established, resourceful country. It can sustain with any shock.
Is there any, actually, keeping in view of their socio and the cultural background and the economic thing also, having less number of banks compared to the population list, is it possible to go entire cashless thing in India?
It is very good question, because you see there are two things to ponder on. One thing is such a huge society, completely cash based. But another dimension is that about 70% of our population that consumes less than $2 per day, less than $2 per day, about 70% of our population. You see the polarity of economy. So those who are not able to consume hardly 140 rupees per day, why 500 and 1000 rupee note is required? For whom it is required? If you look at this point, then this is very justifiable. So we are not talking about cashless economy, we are talking about less cash economy.
Okay.
So up to 100 rupees currency note, let it be there in the economy. In a due course of time, let the time evolve and let the time take its own course. Automatically $100 rupee bill can be demonetized, but in a due course of time with a due system.
Some interesting thing is, ours is a totally cash based economy, and 86% of the cash has been withdrawn, and still the economy is running. It's how it is.
So that is why, because about 70% of our population, they are running their life under $2 per day consumption. That is the basic reason. They need only 100 rupees note, that is sufficient for them. And now government has taken the same appropriate measure, that they have introduced 2000 currency note. This 500 rupee currency note, that the value of its total cash economy, it was about 50%. To remove it in one go, it was really a huge task. Government has taken it, and I think by 15th of December now they are going to introduce new 500 currency note. So cash crunch will be more easier thereafter. There will be some sort of a smoothness will be in the economy.
Can we see digitalized economic system in the future?
Yeah, it is a future of a global economy. The digital economy is the only way forward. Now everything is online. The youth, you are observing, the most of youth, they are going for online purchase and online that kind of trade. So it is the only way forward, digital economy. That's what we were talking about. Maybe today or maybe tomorrow, but this decision was inevitable. Demonetization, the decision was inevitable. It is a destined one. No ruling party has option for it. Only they could have prolonged it for a considerable period, say about a year, 2 year, 3 year, 10 year, but somehow they had to take the decision, and Modi has shown courage to take such a bold decision.
What would be the impact on our social and economical sectors in the future, the demonetization effect?
For a short time, it is going to make a kind of a pinch to the economy, because the cash flow will be going to be disturbed. But in the long run, it is going to be very beneficial, because you see, the market economy, that stands on just demand. Demand comes from two sides. One is need and another is purchasing power. Our demand is so potent because we are 130 crore population. So our demand is very potent. Need is very potent. It is to be supported by only purchasing power. The purchasing power is there, but only the tool is now shifting from cash to digital. So that transition period, that is only the period to be considered where economy is going to be hit by some percent, GDP by 1%, 2%. Already our economy in a short term. But in a long way, the banks are going to be get a full money in their cover. So interest rates are now naturally going to be down. So huge purchasing power will be poured in the society. That will boost again demand, and then the exponential jump will take. The bounce back of economy will be amazing.
But less IT penetration is there in our country actually.
This is a kind of a technology. It can be adopted, imparted. It is very easy thing, no? It is just to be adopted. We don't have to go for a research, and installations are there. Big corporate players are there. Government is also there. Infrastructure like banking and post office is already there in a place. We have to just modernize it. And our youth of such a great potential and great knowledge and techno-savvy youth, they are completely capable to take.
In the rural areas?
Yeah. It is not rural area that hardly matters hereafter, because technology that the internet you see everywhere now, mobile and everywhere, its penetration is so deep. Money is also can be penetrated, because now that hardly matter for technology, rural or urban area, that hardly matters.
So rural India can also adopt it.
Yes,
very
certainly.
nothing to do with the literacy and all.
Yes. It is just a techno-savvy thing, no? Just you go by this. The banking behavior is also changing. The whole system is also changing. More pro people, more polite, and that kind of services we are observing now. So this will encourage more people to come down to banking stream.
Whether our culture towards the currency, culture towards the money will change?
Certainly, because the modern change, this is a modern technological change, and this is nothing but globalization. We have already adopted it, now we have to welcome it from our heart, because it is now going to be a part and parcel of our life. Now we are mixed with the whole global harmony, global trade, global business, global education, global environment, everything is now coherent. Now we just cannot keep ourselves aside. We have to move with a positive spirit, with active acceptance. We have to move hereafter.
Back to the block money listing, and the major part of the operation is actually to curb the black money. Can they achieve it with these moves?
No, this is not. This is a partial movement to make a control over black money. Only circulation, the black money circulation can be retarded by the demonetization. But the origin of black money is again a taxation system. So we have to take measure there also. And that is what Arthakranti proposing. Wherever the tax evasion is there, that is a creation of black money. That's the start of black money. Taxation system accordingly, that it will not be able to create any kind of black money thereafter. Abolish complete existing taxation system except custom duty, because it is for international trade balancing. As an anti-dumping duty we can use, so we can protect our indigenous business and trade. Apart from import duty, no taxes will be there. Local bodies, central government or state government, no tax, no direct or indirect, no tax will be there. To compensate all this system, only bank transaction tax will be there. Bank will deduct a certain amount from a receiver's account for creditor's account, any creditor account, in a certain percentage. That 2%, and these are notional, these are for example. So if government asks for more taxes, ultimately and naturally our social security and social welfare plan will be enhanced, will be more funded. So that's good for our nation. So some percent will be deducted, and the bank itself will redistribute it to different government level, like in central, state, local bodies. That is in very tune with our federal structure, federal spirit. So every local body in real time they will get now their revenue. After every transaction in a real time they will get their revenue. So development will be from the grassroots, from the local bodies level, from that it will start. Hereafter government will have no any botheration of revenue. They have to just go for expenditure. More expenditure, more employment, more welfare, equity, everything is possible thereafter.
In fact, the black money generation, as you told, the heavens are there, the real estate and the gold market and the nexus between the bureaucracy and the political corruption. How to deal with those things?
These are simple administrative measures, they can cure all these things. Gold, it can be checked by all means. You say just government, if government announce we are going to accrue or approve mortgage value of gold up to 60% only, automatically the real value will come down. The rest of the land cost and government, the FSI in Hyderabad, I know there is no FSI limit. That's why there is no problem of black money in putting in the land. But in apart from any metros from Hyderabad side, huge black money is being deported. If government took off or be liberal about the FSI and that kind, and town planning measures, then it will be automatically covered. So bureaucratic and the politicians, now the thing has already happened. Means now how they are going to face, now we are also as very curious how they will now react, bureaucrats and it. Because the decision is now on, the process is on now. Now they have to shed off their hands. No, we cannot take money because there is no currency note. For politics or for election, we have to provide clean constitutional money. Budgetary provision we have to make for the elections. The requirement of black money and that the nexus between black money and politician will be delinked there. That's the weak link in between black money. Attraction, only growth attraction. The only hindrance is the thing, that is CPI, Corruption Perception Index. If that goes down, automatically this FDI is going to come to India. It will get stabilized in India, and in infrastructure, in farming, in business. That will create more and more business opportunities, service opportunities, employment opportunity. That is what we require.
What are the government has to take the steps to continue this momentum?
So next part of this is the government has to look after the taxation seriously hereafter. And what we are thinking now, the people who are visiting our website because of the demonetization, now they are also getting curious. So then this happened. Why not this?
But now government is coming with the GST, and you are proposing the BTT also. Will there be a coherence, or will there be any sort of
friction? That GST now you are observing, we are all observing. It is not moving as per government's anticipation, the speed. Everywhere it is getting some kind of trouble. So this is the time to review the GST the whole as. Is it appropriate or BTT is more appropriate? What government is advertising about GST, the one nation, one tax, it is a fallacy now. Because already there are 5 stages, slabs in GST, and about 50% of the services and products like petroleum and electricity and land, it is out of purview of GST. Means GST is just cannot be a one nation, one tax. It is not the.
Can there be a GST in the future? Because the finance minister is setting the targets of the
so this government just passed it out. But just not by passing the legislation is not the process. Adoption of it is so difficult. And now it is surfacing. Now that's why we are now completely hopeful about BTT and Arthakranti proposal. America refused to accept GST because their perception is that America of 33 crore population, around 33 crore, GST is not a suitable model for their republic 33 crore population size.
Even China also.
China has to refuse. But when 33 crore cannot accommodate the GST, then how 130 crore can accommodate it?
Whether this move taken by the Modi government is a correction one or the reform?
It is certainly a correction one. Because reform, if government tackles with taxation, that will be a reform. But shifting cash to digital is a correction model, and this is going to give a great opening of horizon rather of opportunities, and everything is now possible. That kind of a wrestler is ill by some kind of a disease or a flu or that. So he has to take a rest for few days. That way Indian economy for few days is going to slow down. But after recovery it will bounce back like anything. So compensation of growth rate is very natural. But it is for a time being it is going to happen. This is a correction model. It is not a development model, or it is not a reform model.
And how the Modi government has to take it? Whether go very aggressively from here or a bit cautiously?
No, surely government will be aggressive hereafter, because the confidence level of this, the people are supporting like this, and this support if continues, then government will move ahead with a more vigor. And now the whole world is watching India, because there is a threat of counterfeit currency of $100 bill also, and that is a global issue now, because $100 bill, the trade of America itself in a global trade proportion is very high, about 38%. Now there will be a pressure on American bill also, $100 demonetization. That bill is giving power to extremists, cut down the power, to cut down the sources. Now the world may be thinking, or rather in my view, it is already thinking to demonetize $100 bill also. The world is watching now, the whole global expert is watching India, how we succeed. If we succeed, then these moves are very natural to happen in the near future.
Is the real operation over or yet to come?
It's a process now. It's not an event, it's a process, it's a beginning. Now, hereafter, in the coming years, we are going to see a huge change, huge modifications. That is completely tuning Indian economy with a global stream. It is going to happen now.
What should be the logical end to it? And should there be any time frame?
There should be rather. Now you see our political boundaries are there. Within a 5-year span, government has to show something. So now government may take such decision already. If he succeeds as government desires, then this government is naturally going to get next tenure. So more bold steps are expected hereafter. Let us see how people respond to the decision. Now it is completely under observation. The process is on. A general psyche is supporting the decision.
Can we expect the thing that Mr. Madison was writing, the contours of economy in the book? India was, as you said, the superpower of once the global economy. Can we expect it from the
Surely.
Whether our economic rejuvenance?
Surely, because 130 crore population is a huge asset. Is a great asset to our country. Complete Europe, complete America, including Russia, Korea and Japan, they are not of 100 crore till today. They are not going to be Indian size. Ours is a young country of 29-year age, average age. Our potential is such a great. So India is inevitably going to be a superpower.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
अच्छा लगा.
భారత్ను నగదు రహిత సొసైటీ కాకుండా నగదు తక్కువ ఉన్నటువంటి సొసైటీగా చూడాలనేటువంటిది అనిల్ గారి అభిప్రాయం. అంతేకాకుండా భారత్ త్వరలో ఇప్పుడు తీసుకుంటున్నటువంటి చర్యల కారణంగా సూపర్ పవర్ కాబోతుందని, ఆర్థిక రంగాన్ని, ఆర్థిక వ్యవస్థను, ప్రపంచ ఆర్థిక వ్యవస్థను శాసించే వ్యవస్థగా మనం భారత్ ఎదుగుతుందని ఆయన ఆశిస్తున్నారు. అంతేకాకుండా అన్నిటికంటే కీలకమైనటువంటి విషయం ఏంటంటే GST మీద చాలా అనుమానాలు ఉన్నాయి. అదే రకంగా GST అనేది అమలులో రావడం అనేటువంటిది కొంతమేరకు అనుమానాస్పదంగానే కనబడుతుంది. దాని బదులు BTT అనేది అద్భుతమైనటువంటిది, భారతదేశానికి అత్యంత అవసరమైనటువంటి పన్నుల వ్యవస్థ అని చెప్పి అనిల్ గారు అభిప్రాయపడుతున్నారు.